Top of the morning, friends and fellow traders. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options, coming to you with the morning market preparation video for March 15th, 2018. Well, yesterday we had some trade fears kind of come into the market. Worry of a battle between the U.S. and China on tariffs and trade wars. And we were doing okay early on, holding on to that 25,000 mark that I was kind of hoping we would hold on to and bounce off of. But then when that darn fear started to well up about a Chinese trade war, we began selling and selling pretty fast. And it really all came as a result of some big selling in Boeing, selling off rather sharply. Now, it ended up rallying toward the end of the day, kind of belaying some of those fears, but the damage was already done on the Dow index here. And have we lost everything here? I don't think so. When you look at this overall, we did end up holding on to this wedge pattern, and that trend line up is still holding on. So everything is really okay here. Is it what we wanted to see? Obviously not. But now we're going to have to get some energy here to try and bounce up out of here, because if we drop below this level, we'll at least test this level, and then any rally back will serve, this wedge will serve as resistance that could potentially move us lower. But the thing is, I don't really see that in the rest of the indexes. If we take a look at the SPY, SPY is doing exactly what we want it to do, moving on up. Okay, moving on up and coming back right now just to test this level of support right here. And so far, it's holding above its 50-day moving average, and so far, that support is still in play. Now, one of the things I always look for when I trade is I don't like to trade stocks that are in current downtrends. So I just simply wait for a stock to rally through its downtrend, prove it can hold it as support. And when I mean prove it can hold it as support, we just need a buy signal to be produced in here. Now, it doesn't have to be something like that. It could be several days or over the course of, even a week or 2 weeks that occurs. But what I want to see is that hold of support, that hold of that downtrend, proof that buyers are going to step in there. And that's when I like to jump into the trade, because my stop loss is relatively tight at that point. I can set my stop loss real close and just take advantage of that move. So that's one of my favorite entry patterns of all. As a matter of fact, I've built 90% of my career on that single pattern. And in any stock, in any index, it works very, very well. The important part of it is that you're in a trend, and you just wait for the next entry into that trend. So really simple. As you can see, I use very simple charts, but I'm telling you, everyone, it works. Just get simple in your trading. Just learn to follow price rather than predict it, and everything becomes a lot easier. So with that, let's take a look at the Qs. Qs hanging on also to their trend. Trend is hanging in there, moved up incredibly strong here, in the Qs, just blasting through all-time highs, pulling back to hold this support level, that breakout. So what we need to see here is just a little bit of buying coming on. Now, we could certainly dip below that slightly and then come right back above, and that would be okay. But just a little rest right in here might also be in order. Just a few small spinning top doji type days. If we do happen to get a nice buy signal in here, then just know that's a great pattern right here of potential upside in the market. And the Qs have been lifting the entire market. Can it continue to do that? Well, we'll wait and see. Here's one of the reasons why I think the possibility of a consolidation exists. See how far we are away currently from this trend line. So if we were to have just a few days of rest right here, that would not be out of order at all. Even that little dip back below there to test that trend line could certainly give us an opportunity to buy. So I wouldn't be too worried about this overall market, at least yet, as long as we're holding up here. SPY holding up, Q's holding up, and IWM also holding up. Here's our overall trend. Here we've got our downtrend line that we breached here. We've got a major support level across here. We've moved up nicely. We're pulling back here just slightly as we tested these all-time highs, but we haven't just really collapsed. So as long as we can hold up in here, we have the potential, a little more pullback or a more consolidation, and then still going higher. So keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the VIX. And you would have thought with the big selling that came into the Dow, we would have a little bit more of a negative response in the VIX, and we really didn't get that. That's why my fears about this little sell-off that happened in the Dow is really not affecting me much until I see more of the market starting to slip that way. I still have that gut feeling the market kind of wants to go up. Now, it could consolidate for a while, but I just see a willingness to hold on here, at least at the moment. That could easily change in about half a heartbeat if something happens in the market. Now, one thing that is negative here is that we broke back above, price broke back above this support level. Well, it was resistance, broke back above. It's setting here as support now, just underneath there. And if we looked at the 50-day moving average, we just eked out a close right above that 50-day. If we remove price altogether and just look at the moving averages right here, price is setting right here, and we have a big confluence of averages right in here. So this area right in here could serve as a resistance for that fear, and we'll just have to wait and see. But right now, we didn't get that big move yesterday that I think a lot of folks would have expected in the VIX. Let's take a look at the T2122. T2122, the 4-week new high, new low ratio. I look at it on this, just a simple line chart here. You can see we've been up here, and I've been talking about this. We were up here in that place where a pullback was likely, that bearish reversal zone, and that's exactly what we got yesterday. But it wasn't extreme. It wasn't extreme at all. So just a nice little gradual pullback here toward this middle. We could even move a little bit lower in here, and no damage really to the overall market. So this gives us an opportunity to have upside potential. Now, currently looking at the market, we're starting to show just a little bit of bullishness this morning. We have an awful lot of data coming out yet, and that data could certainly move us or change us pretty significantly. But let's take a look at that economic calendar really quick. We've got a lot of news coming out just before the market opens here. 8:30 a.m. Eastern, we get jobless claims, the Philly Fed, Empire State Manufacturing, import-export prices, all at 8:30. And here's the thing, all of those, at least consensus-wise, are not expected to show any bad news. If we take a look at past that at 10 o'clock, we have the Housing Market Index and Treasury International. So these two here, jobless claims and Philly Fed, are the biggest news of the day. That'll make a difference. So kind of keep an eye on that right before the market opens. Well, an hour before the market opens, we could see a shift in current things. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that. On the economic calendar, or excuse me, earnings calendar, we have, I guess about 180 or so earnings reports. This is one of the last really big days of this quarter of earnings announcements. Now, we're going to have earnings string out for the rest of this month, but this this today marks kind of the last really big day of earnings. We start dropping off fairly significantly in numbers as we move forward. So watch for that volatility today. Be careful. Watch these. Watch these wedge patterns here. If they hold up, or if the SPY or anything starts showing signs of giving up or failing right here, we could have some trouble. But if we start seeing a little bit of bounce in this area, start watching those watch lists closely, there could be some really good trade entries setting up. So kind of keep an eye on that if those bulls do decide to take a hold here at this battle line. Everyone take care. Have a great day. I wish you great profits. If this is the first time you've seen this information, please do me a favor and click on that subscribe button on YouTube and the follow me button on Facebook. Click those thumbs up buttons. That helps me out an awful lot. Thank you, by the way, for all of the great comments that you guys leave on these videos. I do appreciate it. Everyone take care. We'll talk to you bright and early tomorrow morning.